Hello, I'm John, the executive producer here at Final Show Films. I got a few notes for you before the show. First, I want to thank you all for watching. We couldn't do what we do or the amount of things that we do without the support of you, the viewer. If you want to support us financially, which we always appreciate, you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms, where you can donate as little as $1 a month to help us continue this and all the things that we do. I want to give a special shout out to our $25 supporters, Antitonic, Waterflame, and Samantha Bates. Second, I want to let you all know that we here at Final Show Films are planning a little get-together up at Gen Con this year. That's August 2nd through 5th up at Indianapolis. We're going to be up there just sort of hanging out, enjoying the con, spending time together, and if any of you guys want to come up and say hi, please feel free. We don't bite unless you want us to. And if you enjoy whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to, be sure to check out our website at finalshowfilms.com, where you can find links to all of our other content, both podcast and video. And be sure to follow me at John A. Bates on Twitter for more updates on all of the content we're creating in the future. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
And sorry about that.
There are no good
We are live.
Uh-oh.
Hello, everyone. I am William. Sorry about the extra hold on the video intro. We are welcome to the Warcraft RPG campaign, Storm, Earth, and Fire. I am William, and I am the Dungeon Master for this Warcraft campaign. Joining me today, we have Stan.
Hi. Playing Josh, the Tinker Rogue.
The Rogue Tinker Goblin.
The Rogue Tinker Goblin. Oh, he's a goblin, yeah. I forgot that part of it.
And Rudy.
Hey, I'm Rudy. I'm playing Break Earth Whisper, Tauren Rune Master.
Alright. And Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm playing Shiana Flamecarver. She's an orc rogue.
Yep. And Austin. Actually say your character's name, please.
Hi, I'm playing a troll who identifies as a troll, and he is a troll, and he has gained a couple levels in Hunter.
Actually say your character's name, please.
My character doesn't acknowledge having a name.
His name is Jagatal Wildwalker.
Yes.
Oh, wow,
I
man.
don't want a murder to happen down here, okay?
Alright, and we do not currently have Zachary. He will be joining us shortly, and we do not today have John because there's stuff going on and he's going to be very busy for the next couple of days. So he's not here with us today at all, but Zachary will be here shortly.
What?
My feet.
So
I didn't think anything of the feet list.
when last we left off, the party, having discovered the source of the overgrowth in the northern end of the Southern Barrens, near the crack in the earth, met with a Tauren by the name of Muyo, as well as a couple of other unique hangers-on
Yeah.
for the couple of days that you were out there, and had a conversation about what the nature of this place was, being the Nightmare Scar, a place where the Emerald Dream, or more specifically the Emerald Nightmare, the corruption of that dreamscape, was bleeding through into the real world. Dealing with it and managing to move away and deciding that this was probably not the best place to look for food or fresh water. Brought back Muyo to assist with setting up some farmland and some fresh water for Desolation Hold. And had discovered and had conversations with the warlord about potential options on where to go next. Those options, as you had discussed, were going to the Tauren homeland of Mulgore, for potential aid from the Tauren, as they are a sovereign ally of the Horde. They would be obligated to send help if they can, but as had previously been discussed, there is a good likelihood that the Tauren are dealing with their own problems right now. Other options included making your way over to Feralas, which was also known as a wild overgrown expanse, that not a lot of contact has been had with recently, so it's hard to tell. No one's been down to Camp Mojaki to converse or get news recently anyway. Or your other two options, which both involve going to roughly the same area, is going to one of the camps in the Dustwallow Marsh, which would be the Horde camp of Stonard, which is a potential option, or heading past Dustwallow Marsh further south into Tanaris to potentially set up lines to Gadgetzan, where Gadgetzan, being a goblin port, is the most likely to have available resources and potential mechanisms to deliver those resources safely over the transformed landscape. And the only ways of getting to Tanaris are going either through Dustwallow Marsh or through Thousand Needles, as far as you're aware. So, but that is where your plans have been laid. Now it's up for you to decide as you awaken the next morning, gather yourselves, and are to have this conversation with Warlord Bloodhilt, because he is to decide where to send you next. So you all meet up with the Warlord at the top of the main tower of Desolation Hold, and he's got a map laid out, which is, as you note, outdated, but with the updates that you've provided with your ranging and your scouting. So as you meet up with him, he looks up as you enter. Ah, my scouting party. It's good to see you're all awake.
Yes.
I suppose it's time to decide where you'll be heading next.
I think we've decided to head toward Needles and beyond.
I think that's
Yes.
Checking out the Goblin Hole.
That's what we headed
town
down
down there. Past that.
last night.
Yeah.
Well, if you all agree that is the best course of action, then convince me. I see many reasons to send you to many places. Mulgore being chief among them, as they are our allies and should be reinforcing us. Why Tanaris?
Possibility of more materials down there to work with. Possibly getting some things to bring back to work with.
or getting back in the skies.
Yeah.
More Zeppelins would
Probably
definitely
picking
be...
up a Zeppelin for better maneuverability around here.
More Zeppelins would definitely be valuable. Heading to Mulgore would be more likely to acquire warriors and supplies, but heading to Tanaris we would be more likely to be able to acquire equipment. And ultimately that is what this fort is lacking, is siege equipment of any kind.
Yes.
So... Very well. I will send you with a writ of authority of the Horde to make bargaining decisions on our behalf in regards to acquiring Zeppelin and equipment for Desolation Hold.
Okay.
You carry the word of the Horde in this matter. Do us proud.
We'll give it to Wild Man. No.
He hands it to Shiana.
I was about to say, I'm just going to take it.
Hang on to it with both hands. Oh.
Was that in character?
Yes, I'm sure it was. I just kind of laugh it off and just kind of smile and wave and move along.
She's
All
going
right.
to regret this
She
later.
stabs me in the back and way down the
No,
stairs.
you're just going to regret this later.
All right. Do the Horde proud. Loktar Ogar.
Look, Targa.
And you all head out of the tower, and presumably out of the fort.
I mean, I imagine it's difficult to get there in the fort.
Generally, unless you bring the fort with you.
I was about to say, like,
Let's
if we
pick it up.
like, commission
How
a
much can you
giant
carry?
turtle, I can carry a thoroughly mediocre amount.
Me less. Okay. So we go out the front door?
Yep. So, how are you going to avoid getting shot by Fort Triumph?
Let's Well,
I
two of us
personally
can
am going to
stealth.
pick up the goblin and use him as a shield.
What direction
two
is
of us
Fort
can
Triumph from us?
East.
And
We're
we're
heading
going
south.
So
We have to
why?
go-
What would anything necessitate us getting closer to Fort Triumph?
Well, if you look, I'm going to step off the screen for a minute. Sorry, viewers. Excuse me. So your options for, as I try and speak into the mics, your options for getting out, you're here at Desolation Hold. Your options for getting down here to Gadgetzan, which is right here on the coast,
Oh, that's a ways.
are to
Yes.
either go through Dustwallow Marsh and cut around through the Shimmering Flats, or go all the way down south through Thousand Needles into Tanaris proper and cut it across there.
Oh, all right.
Either way, Fort Triumph is right here, right across the way. So you're going to be in their sight for several miles until you pass far enough by.
In their sight, but not in direct range. Like we're not getting close. We're just kind of skirting around their edge.
Theoretically, but if any of them are feeling overzealous, they might take a shot at you. They have guns.
All right.
Could we just try stealthing?
Yeah. How?
Two of us can
What you
stealth.
looking for?
I mean, I can stealth.
I mean,
We don't have animals still, right?
no.
A few Kodos have been retrieved. No wolves are back yet. So you'd be moving on foot, which would probably make your travel time even longer.
Are there any places where we might obtain animals along the way?
You could try and tame some of the wildlife of the marsh. Although what you'd be looking for in Dustwallow Marsh would probably be alligators more than anything else.
Those are not great mounts.
And they're not
Unless
gonna be good.
unless Warcraft alligators are faster than real alligators.
That depends on what you're looking at.
Also, when you get them out of the
Warcraft
swamps.
alligators can fly?
Well, I mean, if we just ride them through the swamp, that's fine.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but I guess that would help through the swamp. I was saying I can go through needles, but
Yeah, I mean,
these needles
so
gonna have to.
a crocolisk, which is bigger than a crocodile and has
Yeah.
6 legs, is 30-foot movement speed on the ground. It's relatively big. It's not quite a large creature, but its swim speed is 40 feet. It's faster than you are in the water. So if you wanted to move through the marsh out to the bay and around, some crocolisks could probably carry you if you could tame them.
So but they're still not like the 50 feet move speed of like a wolf or.
No. They're definitely not as fast as a wolf would be.
Well,
And that 40-foot move speed is only in the water.
Yeah. They're pretty useless once we get out of the water. But they're not going to leave the marsh anyway, so.
right. That would just be to get us across the marsh. But what would be the problem with going through the needles? Would be slowing us down with brambles and things, probably. Or,
Well, Thousand Needles is actually just a desert, if I recall.
Thousand Needles is a desert with tall spires of stone. That's why it's called Thousand Needles, because it's got
Oh, the
these giant,
stone.
giant,
And-
giant pillars of stone.
It's home to the Centaur tribes.
Yep. As far as you would have been educated, it's the home of centaurs and also no, mostly the centaurs. There's centaurs and, as far as you know, the Rocket Way, which is it's a popular basically racetrack.
It's mostly gnomes and goblins there. Isn't there a small amount of Taurens who live in the area too?
It's a site that Tauren have been known to visit before, although at the moment, no major settlements are there.
So it's mostly centaurs, though.
Mostly centaurs.
And centaurs are not
They're like-
friendly.
they're not friendly.
What's the biggest danger in the marsh?
Aside from alligators and various marsh life, or the marsh itself, the Alliance, well, not the technically neutral city of Theramore is on the eastern end of the marsh, towards the sea.
In Theramore, we're safe.
In Theramore, you're
Just
safe.
outside of Theramore,
Outside, not so much. And Theramore is a staging ground for Alliance forces coming into Kalimdor. So you'd be skirting dangerously close to the Alliance trying. But there is a horde base in Dustwallow Marsh called Stonard.
All right, but step one is stealthing around this base.
How do you intend to do that? You intend to try and stake between the crags? Are you gonna do some camouflage? Or are you just gonna try and move quick and quiet?
But the
Camouflage
terrain here
idea.
is steppe, right?
Yeah, it's mostly yellow grass, broken earth. There's a lot of broken rocks from the seismic activity.
The problem with camouflage is it doesn't work super well while you're moving. It helps, but I think trying to move between the rifts is going to be the best bet.
All right. So first off, I'm going to need everybody to roll me a general stealth check.
So how does the troll communicate that to us?
Oh, I didn't say that's what we're doing. I just said that's.
Okay.
Well, I think that's what the troll's going to be trying to do.
We'll just watch him.
I mean, what are the rest of you going to do?
I think I was just going to try stealth. Normally, just, going from place to just
I mean, that seems logical.
outcropping to outcropping. Or it's going to take a while to do this, though, isn't it?
Because the troll's probably like. Is there a big enough rift that we can kind of go through it that way, or not?
You could probably try, yeah.
Okay, so find a good rift. The troll will find a good rift and start sneaking along it.
Oh, no, sorry. I need to make a little bit of a correction because your two paths are slightly different than I thought. Because your two options are south into Thousand Needles all the way down to Shimmering Flats and then down and out, or to Dust Wallow Marsh and then out around the coastline if you can get water transport, because Gadget's End is a port city.
Water transport will definitely be faster.
Yeah, that would be.
Okay, well,
I got 24
Trolls.
stealth.
I'll probably.
ooh, nice.
Actually, that's not going to last very long. Like about how long will it take for us to get out of the range?
Probably a few miles, which means if you're on foot and moving slow, it'll take you
Hour or two?
a couple hours, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm using
speed
Mark of
about
the Beast
an
to
hour.
increase my stealth wouldn't help that much right now.
How long does it last?
A minute per level.
Yeah.
That'll get you started.
Yeah.
So what are you trying to do? You're going to try to stealth?
Yeah.
All right, everybody, roll me a stealth check.
I got 24.
24,
25.
25,
24.
24.
Conveniently, our not stealthy characters just don't happen to be here right now. Isn't that a shame?
19.
19.
Yep.
So yeah, you make your way through the south. Your priest and your shaman mostly shadowing your movements, trying to keep up with you guys, because the rest of you are more skilled at stealth than they are, so they're mostly just shadowing you, trying to keep next to you. Make me, those of you who are trying to stick to the rocks, try and keep them as cover between you and Fort Triumph. Make me survival checks.
That I can do. $23.
23. All right.
18.
18. Good.
18.
18. Good.
4.
4. All right. So when they get to try and take a look at all of you, the only person that get advantage from their height on will be the goblin.
Which has an advantage of being short.
Nope. Don't see you. Don't see you either. Get back here.
No.
Nope. Don't see the Tauren. And by a miracle, don't see the.
Well, I mean, he's the shortest,
Goblin.
so thankfully he gets the most advantage from the cover. Clearly.
However,
Totally.
I'm just moving along.
If he was using the cover. So, a couple hours pass of very tense march, as any moment you fear that you might just be opened fire upon by Fort Triumph or set upon by horse riders, because you know they've definitely had reinforcements as far as you've been informed. So, odds are good that if they spotted you, they would have no trouble just chasing you down and picking you off with a raiding party that they could put together to stop you from getting reinforcements for their enemy, which would basically seal their victory in this siege battle.
That is how sieges work.
But as much as that tension wears down on you, it never happens. So a couple hours pass, and eventually you are out of the sight of the fort as it disappears over the ridges that you put between yourself and it. So eventually, several hours of travel start to pass by until you are left in the gathering dusk as the sun begins to set. The wide expanse of the Southern Barrens still before you. As you look to the south for your potential next avenue, you can see the massive mountainous ridge that separates the Southern Barrens from the Thousand Needles far off in the distance, with the thorny crag that is known to most maps as Razorfen Crawl, the, if anyone could call it such, capital city of the Quillbores of the region, being just to the southwest of, being just west of the entrance to Thousand Needles. And then, a little bit closer to you, but still southeast by a fair distance, you see the break in the cliff faces that marks the transition between the Barrens and Dustwallow Marsh. And you still got a ways to go. You've probably got a day of travel before you'll hit Dustwallow Marsh, if that's where you're headed, and 2 or 3 before you'll hit Thousand Needles.
Well, the troll has no way to communicate where he's going and tends to be more of a follower. Because I don't know much about the geography down south, right?
Probably not.
Like, I would recognize a marsh and a desert when I see them, and I know about them, but I don't know the specific geographies that we're heading into.
No, because you spent most of your life in Duratar.
Yeah. I know jungles really well.
Yeah.
But, okay.
We don't have any jungles. I guess we head off to the coast so we can avoid...
Yeah, you would have spent most of your life in Duratar or on the Echo Isles, which are sort of jungle islands off the coast.
Yeah. No, I didn't spend any time on the Isles.
Well, Duratar is mostly barren rock, so if you would be familiar with
Then I
jungle...
did spend it on the islands. I spent wherever the jungle is, where the raptors lived.
Yeah, most of the Echo Isles.
Okay.
So we're going to try to avoid the centaurs at this point and just head to the marsh.
Head through Dustwallow?
That way, that way. Got it. We move.
That's the goblin talks to himself.
Yeah, I know. He talks funny. Okay.
Well, it's getting dark now, so...
Yeah. Oh, we got to set up camp.
Set camp, set watches.
Yep.
I'll take first watch.
Okay.
Is there any food or water about?
From my survival check, see what you can find.
Another 23.
23. So you do find a spot where some groundwater has collected. It hasn't gone stagnant yet. So you've got a small rivet in the ground where some of the water from recent rains has managed to collect, and you've got a short amount of time to collect it from the ground before it starts to get infected with the dirt itself. So
Cool. I will totally gather up some water.
alright. So you gather some water and make camp around there. Probably, if you wanted to find food, you probably have to deal with some small lizards or insects.
I have no compulsions against that.
Mm.
When Jenga Tall returns, he's got small lizards and insects. that he is again offering to share. Who wants to share with the troll?
No,
I'm good,
I decline.
Thank you, Gentle.
but thank you.
Alright.
So,
First
we
rest.
Yep, take a rest. Who's taking the first watch?
I said I would.
You would? Okay. Roll me a spot or listen, whichever is higher.
Ooh, that's good. 25.
There's a priest.
Yeah, Pixie's probably freaking out because... Oh, no, Pixie's outside.
No.
Yep, there's a priest.
The priest awakens from his meditative trance to see...
The group's setting down for camp for the
we're
night.
setting up camp for the night. So you're on second watch, evidently.
Cool, makes sense to me.
I will quickly re-go over your two pathways so that you can actually have conversation about where you might want to go.
Yeah, we're going down.
So your two, so the group has decided that their ultimate end goal is to get to Gadget Zan because they have potential to get equipment more than just people.
Makes sense.
So your two options for going down, you've left from Fort Triumph. You're about here right now. You can either go another day and end up in Dustwallow Marsh, and then try and get some water transport to get around to Gadget Zan because it's a port city, or you can take another couple of days, head down to Thousand Needles, go through Shimmering Flats where the Mirage Raceway is at, and then head down straight into Tanaris from there on foot.
Oh, we have to get past Macho.
And yeah, and you know that Thousand Needles, you know that Thousand Needles is home to many centaur tribes.
And they probably wouldn't really care to... Would they really care to lend us much aid? I'm guessing not.
Centaurs are not friendly to anybody but themselves, mostly due to their religion and culture.
Okay.
Unless we run into Crash.
Yeah.
Crash doesn't live with those centaurs.
Crash lives in Northrend.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
Crash is a bit further off.
Maybe we run into Crash, who's very, very lost.
Across an ocean.
he would
Yes,
only
that
be
would qualify as very, very lost.
I got a running start off the edge of Northrend and I didn't land until I was in Kalimdor.
It happens.
But he would only be like first or second level.
Crag
right?
was testing out the Crash
No,
bolt.
this is after that.
This is after. Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah, there's a group of 20th level characters up in Northrend making their home right now.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, so your watch goes mostly uneventfully, Brick. You note some animal life that moves around, but it definitely is keeping itself away from you. It's not trying to draw your attention or anything. Your watch passes mostly safely, and second watch comes up. And who do you wake for second watch?
Did anyone say they were going to do second watch?
I'll do second watch.
I'll wake her up.
So, Shiana, you can go ahead and roll me spot or listen, whichever's better.
Okay. 18.
18. The watch passes mostly uneventfully. You do spot some minor activity to the south. Looks like a small group of creatures in motion. Could be animals, could be quillboars, could be something off to the south. They don't seem to notice or care about you, and as long as you don't bother to get their attention, they don't seem to see you there. Other than that, your watch passes uneventfully. Who are you waking up for third watch?
Did anyone take third watch?
Well, who are you waking up for it?
Because I will go kick a goblin in the head.
Okay. Sure. I'll try to think twice.
This is going to be the watch where we actually have something. He doesn't have a spot check, so you
That's
know
okay. It doesn't matter. She woke me up.
Did you actually kick him in the head?
Yes, very hard.
Grumple, grumple.
I'm guessing that's for the
Alright, go ahead and roll me
both
spot.
hands
Okay, spot.
comments earlier.
All of the comments about my one arm.
I only have one so far today.
what? You know, I really think you need to get a handle on
Handle on this? Yes.
So mean.
I rolled a 7.
7?
So whatever it is, it gets me before I get it.
You're fixated on trying to keep your equipment maintained. You're not really paying attention
I'm
to the
looking at
environment
stuff.
around. You took the opportunity to get woken up to like recalibrate your grabbing arm and
Yeah.
sort of make sure that your needle bombs were loaded.
Yeah.
And also your head's ringing, so...
That's right. I'm just picking up stones with my gauntlet.
Making sure it's calibrated,
making sure it's
functioning right.
Yeah. Sure.
All right.
Ooh, it worked well. Ooh. I can do all kinds of things with this.
Oh boy.
Oh, wait. What is going on out here? I forgot.
But fortunately, nothing comes upon you during your watch, so you don't have
Okay.
to worry too much until the morning comes and you all awaken to continue moving. So where are you headed? Are you going further south through Thousand Needles, or are you heading east to Dustwallow?
Head east.
I think avoiding things that we can't outrun would be a good idea.
Pretty much, yeah.
Definitely can't outrun the centaurs.
Alligators instead of centaurs.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, are there any advantages to going through Thousand Needles that we can think
No, it
of?
takes a day longer, and the only thing is there's a bunch of gnomes and goblins down in the little thing past that, but we can we're not. We can save the time and go
I
east.
mean, I wanted to party with the centaurs. But I'm kidding. I'm joking.
If we absolutely can't find anything in Gadget's End, we could head back up that way.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah.
We'll find
Basically, if we don't have an airship to take us back, then we'll go ahead and walk back that way.
We have
Is
a
what I'm thinking.
certified request from the warlord to send us back in a ship.
No, we have a certified writ to negotiate on behalf of the Horde.
Right,
We have
yeah.
access to the Horde's treasury.
Yeah,
Cool.
essentially.
He didn't hand it to the goblins.
So
Good.
So shopping spree.
Shopping spree.
Who was it handed to?
Her. Yeah, we're gonna do shopping.
The one
spree
who is most loyal to the Horde here.
so far.
Okay, fine.
That
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, makes sense to me because I'm not even. I was
she
never
hasn't done
even-
anything disloyal to them.
I didn't go through boot camp at all, so
Yeah,
I'm just,
you're just a
I didn't
tag
expect
along.
it.
Well
You're a mer-
phrased.
At this point, you're a mercenary.
Yeah.
So, you guys heading east towards Dustwallow?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
You'll,
That's to me.
you'll reach the entrance of the camp roughly. You'll reach the entrance to the marsh. It would have been an 8-hour ride on Wolfback from here, but it'll be, assuming you keep going all day, it'll be probably 16 hours of walking,
Yeah.
which means you'll basically be walking until exhaustion and then passing out in front of Dustwallow Marsh, or just inside Dustwallow Marsh.
Yeah. Camp out right in front of the alligators. Okay. We better stop another day, another night.
So, are you going to just do an 8-hour march, or are you gonna try and push the extra 8 hours and make it all the way to
If we do
Dustwallow?
it, what's in Dustwallow? Is that the encampment of the Horde?
So Dustwallow is the marsh.
That's just the marsh.
And
That's what I
you'll
thought,
make
yeah.
it to the entrance of the marsh if you push yourselves. It means you'll be getting out of the barrens and into the marsh.
We could go 10 hours and then take a short
We can
rest
do
and then
that.
keep going.
You
I mean, we could
wanna
do
the
we could
16
do a
hours.
partial. You want to do 16 hours?
I was thinking of just making it to the entrance of the marsh. The marsh day.
That'd be the 16. That'd be the 16-hour march.
Oh, then okay, yeah, let's do it.
I mean, we can do it. Okay, sure. I mean,
All right. Everybody make me a stamina. Everybody make me a stamina check.
Hey, I can make those.
Just raw stamina?
Just raw stamina.
Raw stamina? Oh. Can't make those quite well, but close enough.
yeah, I rolled
What you got?
18.
18? Nice.
12.
12, nice.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. All right, Torrent's going strong.
He can carry.
Especially since I have a
14.
minus 1
14.
on stamina.
22.
22. All right.
So I needed that.
You're all, by the time 16 hours of marching have gone by, you're all exhausted, but none of you are mechanically exhausted, which is good. So you all, as night is definitely here by the time you reach the entrance of the marsh, you slowly make your way through the last transition as you leave the dry desert-like heat of the barrens behind and enter the very humid, marsh-like heat of Dustwallow.
Okay. So we climb through the curtain of moist air,
Yep, it's suddenly very moist.
and everything gets heavier.
And so now you're looking for a place to rest for the evening?
Yes.
I'm gonna try to seek out somewhere that's got shelter and some sort of access to clean water.
Roll me survival.
Not as great, but still a 19.
I can roll survival too. And that wasn't as good as the trolls roll, so.
So the only clean water you're going to find is water you're able to strain from the swamp.
What do you mean, strain from the swamp?
Like you will have
Get a
to,
handkerchief.
yeah, you will have to soak up water from the swamp and either evaporate it or drain it out of something. You're not going to be able to find water that is just pure by itself here in the swamp.
Are
So
any
who
plants gonna have enough water in them?
Theoretically, but draining a plant is basically the same thing. It's just you have found something that's already been doing that.
Yeah. So if we went 16 hours, it's basically what, like 2 in the morning or something?
It's almost midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, 12 or 2. Okay.
Alright. Well, in that case, since there's no water, anywhere that we can find some form of shelter, maybe as patch of dry land where we're less likely to be ambushed or eaten by leeches or other.
Oh, there's a handful of beaten roads through Dustwallow. Most of them lead either to some of the few villages or outposts that exist in Dustwallow Marsh, or to Theramore. So there's 3 main roads as you can see from the top of the hill leading down into Dustwallow.
How road-like are we talking? Like, you could drive a cart through here easily, or...
You could drive a cart through here and you would have to worry about your wheels getting stuck in the muck, but
you could.
you could.
There's not going to be a whole lot more. There's not going to be a lot of travelers for the next 6 hours or so, probably. We can hang out on the road, or near the road.
I'm fine with that.
How far is it to one of the outposts? Do we have any clue from our old maps?
Based on what you know, the nearest civilization in Dustwallow Marsh would probably be Brackenwall Village, which, according to this, is a Horde-affiliated outpost northwest end of Dustwallow Marsh. You'd be heading north. It's an ogre mound. It's one of the few ogre tribes that is still aligned with the Horde. Run by a... They've been allies of the Horde since the Horde champion, Rexar, for those of you who know Horde history, which would be a couple of you. The half-ogre champion, Rexar, bested the former chieftain of the Stonewall tribe, Korgal, and became the chieftain of the Stonewall tribe of ogres, and assimilated them into the Horde by doing so.
Yeah.
And you know that the Alliance forces coming out of Theramore tend to like to harass Brackenwall Village, but it is a safe place for Horde affiliates most of the time. But it would be heading north as opposed to south in the marsh.
Yeah.
That's the nearest one. Next after that, you'd be looking at... Sorry, Stoneheart's on the other continent. Why am I thinking Stoneheart? But next after that, you'd be looking at Mudsprocket. And Mudsprocket is actually the direction you're going for, but it'll be another 2 days to get to Mudsprocket from here.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll just camp out somewhere here for at least a few hours.
Alright. Well, in that case, I'm gonna get some dinner.
Go fishing.
This should be an easy place to find food, right?
Theoretically.
As long as it's not, poisonous.
Well, worms and fish and things.
And I'm a hunter, so 30 survival check.
There's definitely, for you especially, insects everywhere. You can find insects for days in this area.
Cool. Anything that since the rest of the group don't seem to eat insects, anything
I don't care.
like frogs,
Probably,
fish?
yeah, you can definitely find some frogs.
Okay.
And some amphibians.
I bet you that they would look more favorably on frogs. So
Probably. They're like squishy rabbits.
yeah, they actually are
It's chicken.
too.
It's essentially chicken.
It turns out that most reptiles and amphibians taste
Exactly like
white
fowl.
meat.
Yeah.
No, not like fowl, because most fowl has more flavor
Oh,
than the modern chicken.
That's true too.
Chickens are just so flavorless. So I'm gonna... And actually, wild-caught frogs taste a lot different than farm frogs.
That's all I've had.
So yeah,
So
the troll returns with a whole bunch of frogs.
while you're searching,
Oh,
something you stumble across.
It's a spaceship.
As you are chasing down some of the frogs that have spotted you and are fleeing from you, as you chase them down to capture them and kill them and then bring them back for food, you kick over a brick. And that catches your attention. A brick in the middle
it's a
of the
brick.
swamp.
Like a man-made brick.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
not
looking at the
like
brick.
just sitting in the middle of the swamp.
And so you pick up the brick and you sort of look around and you see another one and you start following there's some debris kind of scattered around, and as you follow it you find sort of covered in moss and vines and sort of grown over with time, you find a cobblestone road that had been built that sort of leads up a hill to the foundations of some kind of building that used to be here that you find. There is a small, barely still standing brick pillar in the front of it that has a rotting wooden post off the side where one chain broken, there's a small sign still swinging in the wind with some kind of marking mostly faded off of it with time. And then a few feet beyond you see the stone-laid foundations of what was once a relatively large building, but now there's not much left standing except a few shambling remains of wooden support, part of a chimney, and some brickwork in the ground, basically.
Gonna do a brief sift through it. Actually, no, I'm gonna go back to the group with a bunch of frogs.
Alright.
Living or dead?
Dead.
Okay.
It'd be very awkward to carry if they were all alive.
Yeah. So the troll shows up in camp, dumps a sack full of frogs in the middle, and then points off in a direction.
I
Alright, I'm
look
gonna
over,
go.
and if I don't see anything, I go in that direction.
Yeah, I'm going in that direction.
He'll start walking you that way.
It's a brief walk away, and eventually the rest of you, he leads you back, and you see this sort of shambled remains of what was once a building. The foundation is still there. It's a massive square, rectangular slab of stonework placed in the ground, so it's a little bit hard to grow over, but most of the building is just stripped away. There's a chimney still standing and some pieces of wood framework still up, but the only other thing that's left is that stone pillar and the sign that's slowly dangling off of it with something written on it that's barely legible.
Can I tell what it is, or at the very least what language it is?
Yeah.
Roll me a
Search or spot?
search. This would be your ability to piece together what these letters used to be.
20.
20?
$25.
Piecing together based on your knowledge of common. And based on what little of these words are left standing, you can only piece together the name of this building was, according to the sign, the Shady Rest Inn.
Uncle Joe.
What?
Petticoat Junction. Okay. I'm showing my age. So this little train track out the back. Big water tower.
What are you referencing?
A TV show from
Apparently-
60s.
Petticoat. I don't think I've ever seen it.
No, you haven't. It's not very well known.
I've heard of it, but I don't
But
don't think I've
okay,
ever
he's
seen
on the Beverly Hillbillies. You know, Sam the Drucker. He had a part in that because he was the store owner in that one too.
All right, so let's search.
What
it. No, I've definitely heard of this before.
The
can I
troll-
tell anything about like the construction of this building? Like who may have built it?
That would be a...
Or engineering?
History or royalty?
I imagine engineering would be better for that.
I mean, actually, like, strictly speaking, there's a different trade skill that would be for, which I believe architecture is literally the name of it.
Yes.
Yeah, technically it'd be an architecture check. But if you don't have architecture as one of your trade skills, just a straight evaluation's a skill, isn't it?
Like there's search, but no.
Alright, and it's search, probably.
Can they have knowledge engineering? Like not the trade skill, but
This would still be knowledge architecture as well.
Appraise.
Knowledge history would also help. Appraise. That was the thing that I was thinking of. Appraise would
Appraise?
probably help up as well. Figure.
hey, I have that too. I have like all the skills. It's nice.
You rolled well.
And that'd be a 22.
Okay. We'll go with yours.
Turns out when I get a +6 on like every skill check there is.
Yeah. Architecture or masonry would have been the things that would have been useful.
Okay.
For skill wise. But for appraise, what'd you roll?
22.
22. This is definitely a human make. Which doesn't seem that odd considering how close you are to Theramore, all things
Okay.
considered. But it looks like this might have just been an inn on the edge of Dustwallow, basically, for anyone passing through between Dustwallow and the Barrens, as like a shady stop in the middle, at the edge of the marsh.
And you said there was a long trail of bricks that was leading towards it. Were those like, was it a brick path or were they like taken out of the wall of it?
There are bricks from the walls scattered all across the area, likely from either whatever caused this thing to break down or some explosion of some kind.
Are the bricks broken?
A lot of them are, some of them are still standing, but there is also the overgrown remains of a cobblestone road leading away from what would have been the front door.
I want to take a look at the inside of this place and see if... And if it's not completely ransacked and rotted with age, see if I can tell if there are any remains of a struggle at all, like possibly tables upturned in strategic positions to ward off a fight or anything that could tell me something like that. If it's not completely rotted away.
So there was just the. It was just the foundation that was left. essentially.
Basically,
So that's
like
it.
the
Just
foundation, some bits of wood,
and
and
some-
half a chimney.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Right. So there's not that much.
So I can't really tell anything.
I mean, you could inspect.
All right.
That'd be a
I mean,
search
can I look
check.
to see?
Search.
See if that was bombarded with.
That's a 2 on the die.
Can I tell if it was hit with like catapults or anything, like if it was destroyed from like a military?
That'd be knowledge military
Yeah,
to try and figure out.
Yeah. I rolled a 4. That means 11.
11. It's hard to tell.
It's been so long and things have moved.
It looks like what little bit of wood you can still see is scorched. So it looks like some kind of fire would have taken this particular building out.
Yeah, okay.
But as you look around, you see small traces of what looks like other buildings that might have been around. This is the only one that had as solid of a foundation as this one does, which seems like the other ones would have just been eroded away with time.
Right.
But it looks like this might have at one point been a small village, and now all that's left is what seems like might have been the inn.
Yeah, okay. Well, we need to get some rest and get ready to go in the morning.
There aren't any signs of like recent activity around it.
Not really.
Tracks, right?
But this is probably a better place to camp than just in the middle of the swamp.
Yeah.
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 Fine. We'll do that. Set up watches again for
Makes sense to me.
the rest of the night, or are we going to go at sun up, or are we going to wait until about midday to get an 8-hour rest? We don't really need 8 hours, do we? Like 6.
Let's just get an hour rest. I mean, what? It's midnight?
It's about
Yeah.
midnight.
It's about midnight.
I guess
So,
midnight.
8-hour rest.
Okay, sure. Okay.
So you all get some sleep. Who's taking first watch?
Sure.
I'll take second then.
Oh, the third.
Alright. So if you all want to get an 8-hour rest, your
We'll have to go
your
to
best
that.
method would probably be doing 4 watches in 2-hour shifts and actually taking a grand total of 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So who's going to be 4th watch?
I'll do 4th watch.
4th watch? Alright. So whoever's on first watch, roll me spot or listen, whichever's higher.
Mm. 30.
If it's there, you'll see it.
30.
I mean, hey, I have a plus 15 on the check.
So, midnight's an odd hour. It's a time when most things in the world ought to be asleep, but where a lot of beings in this world tend to finally come to wakefulness. And you find yourself in this odd witching hour as you sit among the insects that bite at each of you. By the way, each of you make me a survival check.
Everybody?
Everybody make a survival check.
$16.
16,
24.
24.
Or
17.
25, actually.
Okay.
17 for him. And... yeah, 3 for me.
So everyone except for Shiana manages to keep the insects from biting too badly.
I'm
But
just buried in them right now.
you end up fatigued in the morning because of the insects and how they've constantly trying to eat at you. But as you, Leaf, sit watch among these insects, occasionally swatting one to keep it off of you, you begin to see a small light in the forest, in the marsh, ever so faint, almost like a lantern, bobbing
So, like,
back and forth.
possibly like a fiery light?
Maybe.
Like, what kind of a color?
It's dark. It's kind of orangish in coloration. And it's just bobbing back and forth
Does
as
it flicker like fire?
moves. It's hard to tell. It's a good distance away.
It's a wraith.
As it bobs up and down and back and forth through the forest, all as if in motion across. And you just...
Does it seem like the bobbing is natural for someone actually walking and carrying a lantern?
It's difficult to tell at this distance.
Any kind of a knowledge check I could make?
Appraise? Maybe... spot?
Spot. Another spot check. Let's see if I roll crazy high again. Yeah, that's a 32.
It's definitely something moving. It's very jerky though, so it's hard to tell.
I will
It's definitely not the kind of motion that a lantern would make on the end of someone's hand.
Mm-hmm.
And as you walk,
It's much better.
a voice kind of echoes through the forest, just ever so faint, but loud enough for you who is awake to actually make out what's being said.
He's kind of fussy. I changed him, wiped him up.
He'll bring you mead.
Yes.
He'll bring you beer. A grinning face from ear to ear. He served us all from year to year. We call him Smiling Jim.
What was the name of this place again, according to the sign?
The Shady Rest Inn.
Oh, certainly a shady place. Gotcha.
Just ignore it, it'll go away.
That sounds like a bad idea, actually. Let's see, I forget how it works in this system specifically.
I'm gonna try to.
What are you trying to do?
He wants to.
When you try and turn undead, is that targeted or is it just area of effect?
It's area of effect.
It's within a certain distance of you,
It's
though.
yeah, it's within.
It's either
90?
30 or 60 feet.
Oh, I was gonna say 90.
Let's see.
I don't know. It's not gonna come over here anyway.
Chapter 12.
It'd be in the healer.
It's actually in the combat chapter, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah, the details on turning undead.
Wherever chapter... There's chapter 12. Hopefully. Distance, damage, modifiers, special attacks?
Basically, you make a charisma check, and you add your level to it, and then it does stuff.
Is this
Undead more than
specifically
60 feet
Chinese?
away or that have total cover relative to the character cannot be turned. Okay. So 60-foot range.
But it does not pierce walls.
No, it does not. But I'm going to go ahead and try that because you know what? I have plenty of attempts at this. So I'm going to go ahead and make a check.
60 feet.
Yeah, 60 feet. That's D20 plus charisma. I wish it was wisdom. Oh well.
I thought you had a good charisma.
I have a decent charisma, but my best stats are my like intelligence and my spirit. So, but luckily that was a really good roll. So that's a 20.
Funny. So you grab your holy symbol and you clasp it underneath your fingers and you utter a prayer to the light. And you feel its radiance fill you and reach out to push away any profane or undead creatures within its reach. The light continues bobbing and moving, seemingly unhindered.
Do I feel any difference in the voice?
Not really.
So it's out of range. I'll sit tight then and just see if it keeps circling around or if it gets closer or farther or anything.
You track the light as it jerks haphazardly, as if just swinging back and forth on something. As it reaches a certain point, as it starts to pull further away from you, away from your camp, you eventually... It stops jerking for a minute and seems to hang in place. And then, less jerkily, just slowly starts to glide away.
As it sort of starts bobbing away and after basically the turning attempt, I'm going to try to get an idea of what the spirits are like in this place?
Only spirit check.
That's not a good roll. That's only a 9.
The spirits here are calm. This place seems like it's been affected the least by the cataclysm out of many places. Here, everything seems to be functioning as normal.
Alright. So at the very least, it's probably not something ultra horrible. Probably just restless spirits. Okay, cool. And that's my watch, basically?
Yep.
Who had second watch? You had second watch?
I did, yes.
Cool. I'll get you up for second watch, and then basically notify you that I saw this strange bobbing orange light. If you see it again, if you hear strange voices or anything, wake me up first. I'm kind of a specialist in that sort of thing.
Alright.
You're a specialist in hearing voices in your head?
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I mean, actually, Derek is kind of the number one guy for that, but you know.
But he's not hearing us, so.
So I will be the substitute guy hearing voices in his head.
Is Garrick with us?
Yeah, he's just asleep.
In a
right
meditative
Dealing with the
trance.
spirits.
It was him.
Right now he's asleep. So go ahead and roll me a spot to listen, whichever's higher.
Okay. $23?
Yeah, and so you're just kind of keeping an eye out, occasionally swatting an insect, but you seem to have had the hardest time keeping them off of you as they keep biting at you.
And actually,
I bite back.
when I woke her up, did I notice that she had a particular trouble with that? Like, had she taken the
Fatigue effect? No, not yet.
Alright.
She will not be fatigued until the end of the
I'm
rest.
just covered in like a sheet of insects right now. They serve as a blanket.
You see, the troll wallowed in the mud first.
I think I'm going to go ahead and right before I take my rest, I'll go ahead and cast Restful Slumber, because I figure at the very least it'll probably deal with
While
the
I'm
itchiness.
awake?
Yes.
No, because that occurs for the next time you sleep.
Oh, okay.
So, because I figure at the very least it'll probably help you be less itchy.
Okay.
Restful Slumber. Surprisingly good spell.
It's basically, until you start getting like restoration spells, it's basically bootleg lesser restoration, and it's nice.
Bootleg restoration is now my catchphrase.
Okay. So, aside from the insects that are constantly biting at you and you keep having to swat,
I'm biting back.
you're trying, but they're small.
They're small.
You don't bite the insects
And
the
you
troll
can't
brings
clap
you.
on me. But I'm asleep, so you didn't
This
do that.
I'm attacking. I'm not eating.
You don't
I
have a
want
bite
them-
attack.
I want them to suffer.
Suffer.
Biting their little wings off.
Taking back what's yours.
Yes.
You take my blood, I take your life.
You take my blood, I take your blood. I just have a whole lot more than you do.
So, you, aside from that, the night is eerie, but otherwise normal. You don't see anything out of the ordinary aside from the insects and the constant effect of the wind groaning through the trees and the rather inescapable feeling that you're sitting somewhere that people, many people have died at.
Yeah, well,
I'm okay with this.
we kind of figured that out.
People die.
It's a way of life.
But
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's like a way of death.
But aside from that, you the night passes for your watch passes relatively uneventfully, and you wake up the third watch.
Who's third?
Brick.
Oh, okay. You get woken up gently then. I'm not gonna kick your head.
She kicks me in the head and way by anyway.
Just actually steps on you.
She's stepping over.
Oops! Well,
Well, darn, those ears are just too big and easy to step on.
What book is Restful Slumber in?
That is... I have that on my spell list, actually, which book that it's in.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Noting down which book your spells are.
Yeah, because I basically write a brief description and then
More information.
rely more on being able to go into the book for that.
Sapphire, I basically just printed a 20-page compendium of every spell I could
I
cast.
remember.
Yeah.
Actually, probably more than 20 spells by the end.
You had like a novel.
That is
More than 20 pages, I mean.
Yeah, 20
Even
spells
more.
at a time.
What?
Even
You
more
just
magic.
cast 20 spells at a time.
And it's Restful Slumber.
yes.
Yoink.
Yoink. Whack.
Somebody ought to just get another notebook.
Yay.
Yeah, we have. I think I've got an extra 3 binder.
Just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I mean, that's Williams, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
You could just get another 3-ring binder.
Or I could just leave it like that and deal with it. 'Cause
Nobody-
you're the ones
yeah,
that have to look
nobody
through it.
he has it on the computer. He
I
doesn't
have it on
care.
this computer right in front of me.
What if I get you a horde one?
Then I would appreciate it, yes.
I mean, you can get him one if you want to.
It's the fact that I'm not going to get myself one because I don't need one.
Precisely.
Yeah. 'Cause, I mean,
Chair, stop! Sorry.
what's wrong with the chair?
It was attached to my leg.
How does that happen?
I don't know. Poltergeist.
I see. Are you having trouble finding it?
It's a good thing to know that my listing on that page is wrong.
Yeah, because I looked at Even More and then I looked at More Magic and Mayhem and I don't know what the spell does.
Basically, it causes you to recover twice as many hit points and twice as much ability damage, and restores stages of exhaustion twice as fast
Okay.
when you sleep.
Which
Is that a first or a second level?
It's a second level.
will alleviate some of the aggravating feeling, but will not stop you from, unfortunately, being fatigued at the end of your rest.
Because there's a... Okay. Okay, so here we go.
So, Britt, go ahead and roll me spot and or listen, whichever is higher.
Roll the 21.
21? So, you particularly, being one who is attuned with the land more than most, because the runes draw from the ley lines and the energies of the world itself, you get the sensation that this place is tainted. Not in the sense of, like, being somewhere that is not like the scar, not like a place where a different plane of existence is bleeding through, or a place where the elements are particularly unrestful, but it is a place where a lot of pain and anguish has sort of soaked into the land over a long period of time. It's a place
I
where
don't think that's big enough.
unhappiness and hurt are endemic. It's not a nice place anymore. And that's kind of the sensation that pervades you as you make your watch. It's difficult to parse the sheer pain of this place, but you sort of get a general idea of it. And you just get this idea that this is not a place that living people, should spend too much time in.
We should. Alright. We'll make sure to that we don't stay here too long after we wake up.
Probably a good idea. But that is most of your watch. Other than that, it mostly passes uneventfully.
I guess I would have
And
tried
the fourth watch is Josh. So
13.
you go ahead and wake him up. You say anything when you?
I was gonna say I'm gonna send room just to check.
No runes here. Also, this does not appear to be a place. You've been sort of keeping an eye on the ley lines. You know that you are near a couple of patterns, a couple of potential runes, but not in this region. Dustwallow does not appear to be a place that has a rune pattern present among it. You get the feeling, based on your knowledge of the ley lines and how they travel, if you headed to Mulgore, you might be able to find a rune pattern there, or to Stone Talon, which is further north from Mulgore. But here, you suspect that there might not be a pattern around here, but you suspect that there might be individual runes that can be drawn from the land somewhere further south, maybe in Tanaris. But that's what you get around here.
All right. I will wake Josh up then.
Okay. Not 13.
13 spotless. Yeah. So it's real windy here. That's weird. Because like you would expect that any wind coming in from the shore would hit a wall when it comes to the marsh, just how hot it is. The fact that there's wind pervading this far is interesting. But other than the eerie locale and the feeling of this is a bad place, your watch passes uneventfully.
Okay.
And then everyone wakes up in the morning.
Indeed. It's always good to wake up in the morning.
Generally.
I hope everyone slept well.
I don't like bugs.
You don't like bugs?
You are fatigued.
So what's that doing to me?
Fatigue,
Slowing you
specifically.
down.
You can't run or charge, and you get a -2 to a bunch of rolls.
Basically. Playing the game, not combat, abilities.
How about I
conditions.
can run and charge and I get +2 to a bunch of rolls?
Nope. So you
And take the
have...
opposite do?
You cannot run or charge, and you have a -2 penalty to both your strength and your agility.
Wow.
But those are my good stats.
Yep. Doing anything that would normally cause fatigue now makes you exhausted instead.
Exhausted is really bad.
Well, we can just go
Shara, did you not sleep?
normal day.
I hate bugs.
Well, I recently learned some new runes. Would you mind if I try them out on you? It might help with your exhaustion.
What will they do to me?
Make you not as tired.
Okay, sure.
I use a Glyph of Vigor.
Glyph of Vigor. Which pattern is that one from?
Restoration.
Pattern of Restoration?
Yep.
Alright, give me 1 second.
How long does that take?
I think it specifically removes fatigue, right?
Yeah.
That
Maybe
works.
that'll help.
Glyph of Vigor, or Mark of Vigor.
Mark
Yeah,
of
removes fatigue or alleviates exhaustion.
Nice.
Shucks. So much for
Are you
that.
feeling better?
Thank you.
No.
Out of curiosity, how do you apply this?
Really?
Do you mark a rune on her, or do you just press a rock to her head and tell her to stop being tired?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Stop.
I saw that on TV once.
Stop that right now.
It didn't work.
So yeah, the Tauren, after calling you over, pulls out a small stone that he had carved something on earlier today and just presses it against your forehead. And you feel this arcane energy that had been stored in the stone when he had carved the rune into it pass into you and reinvigorate you and push away the fatigue you've been feeling.
Now, if everyone's set, we should get moving. We should not dawdle here for too long.
Yep. The subject is no longer fatigued. If the creature was exhausted, the condition is reduced to fatigued. That's a really good rune.
Yes.
Yay.
Yay.
Onwards.
Yeah,
towards-
the runes are where all the utility casting is.
Onwards through marshland.
Now again, I try to find passage through the swamp.
Well, I was going to see, while they're doing that, if I can tame some local... If I can find and tame some local beasts of burden.
So, Crocalisks.
Sure.
Sounds
Let's see
like
how well that works.
Just keep it away from me.
Roll me survival to see what
You've
you
had
can
bad
find.
experiences with this.
Well,
Well, one bad experience, but I consider it bad enough to count for like 5.
Oh, let me figure out what my dagger says today.
you hand me lens of mystery. Yeah, what type of dagger is your dagger today?
Boar hide.
Or hide. Very familiar hide surrounds the hilt of your dagger as you wake up this morning.
Yeah. I had monkey yesterday. That's a natural 20. That's 32.
Yeah, you can find some crocolisks. You see them as you're looking around. You see them resting in some of the deeper ravines of the marsh, some of the deeper pools. As you look around, they're definitely waiting for anyone stupid enough to get in the water with them.
Well, with an intelligence score of 6, I think that's me. Let me go ahead and handle animal.
Sure.
See if I can use my animal empathy.
Sure. You can attempt to improve the mood of this crocolisk.
I also have food.
Yeah.
I have meat.
Yeah.
I'm going to use meat. So, handle animal.
Sure.
19.
So, meat definitely helps. And after a few moments of being very cautious and waiting until that motor sound that crocodiles make when they see something that they don't like approaching, that sort of low grumble noise that is well known for being the crocodile warning sound. As you feel that one abate a little bit, you just kind of give it a couple of seconds, toss the meat, and in like a split second, there's a spray of water as the crocolisk's jaw just and the meat is gone.
Alright. So step 2 is demonstrating that we have a symbiotic relationship here. So I'm gonna see why I can't get this thing some more meat to help it to understand what's going on.
So what are you gonna do?
What would be a larger meat animal around here that I could get?
There's some large fish, the occasional swamp strider.
What's a swamp strider?
It's like a giant bug.
You say giant, we're talking like...
Like horse-sized bug.
Oh. Yeah.
You know water striders?
Yeah.
It's like those, but the size of a horse.
Huh.
I don't think the physics of that would really work scaled up.
Yes, they do. It always works.
It's just the extraordinarily long legs let them not sink in the swamp.
Yeah, because it's
They don't
the feet,
float on the water.
The
But
feet are, you know.
I think long pointy legs would make you sink in a swamp.
No, it's more that the long pointy legs aren't the important part. It keeps the body out of the water.
Like the ground's all marshy and they're pointy and then would stick
Yeah,
through
yeah,
and the
yeah.
physics would.
Whatever.
Okay, it's
fine.
magic. Okay.
The troll is going to go see if I can't hunt something, hopefully within sight, to demonstrate that I'm on the same team here and we're hunting this together. So what's nearby?
If you look around, you can see one of those swamp striders. They're very large and easy to miss because their coloration is designed to blend in with the swamp. But
Let's go stalk one, take it down.
sure, let me survival check.
Die. 26.
Yeah, so it's not hard to take down. It's might be very large, but it's still mostly an insect. It mostly survives just by being
By
fast,
avoiding.
By avoiding,
Yeah, but most things can't huck a javelin 60 feet.
yeah. So you catch it once and you catch it good, and it goes down immediately.
Then I drag it over, and I share with the crocolisk.
Yeah. So you bring the swamp strider over, and the crocolisk looks at you as you cut a piece off and throw it to it, and you throw it to it, and it immediately snatches it out of the air again.
Also, crocodiles are not like house cats. Once they're full, they don't want to eat anything. They don't kill things just for the heck of killing things. So. Alright.
You take some time, but eventually this crocolisk is leaning favorably towards you.
Alright. I'm gonna see what I can do about getting some mountage.
Roll another animal handling. See if you can convince this thing that carrying you is a good idea.
Always. 25.
Yeah, it takes a bit of work, and usually it's a case of here's some meat, don't bite me when I get close. That you eventually manage to get the crocolisk to carry you.
It'll get much friendlier when it learns that we can catch way more meat, like, as a duo.
Yeah, and there's just the faintest hint of a small bit of magic that you're learning to tap into as you delve more down the path of the hunter as well. That you started to feel this connection that was sort of sparked when you had the connection with the element of earth during your trial, but now that you started to delve a little bit deeper into it, you're starting to understand the very faint trace of magic behind this additional empathy that you're able to achieve with this crocodile.
Cool.
And so, because as a hunter, you can do a lot more than anyone else can.
Next level I'll be able to do a whole lot more than anyone else can, but that's later.
Yep.
Also, I need to make sure that Snack Friend has eaten.
Yep.
There's plenty of stuff for Snack Friend, though.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
give Snack for an insect.
Return to group on Crocolisk.
Yeah, so this very large and imposing six-legged crocodile slowly marches its way out of the muck of the swamp with a troll on its back.
I smile and wave.
Okay then.
Alright, I'm gonna spin this thing around. How many people can ride a Crocolisk? Probably only one, or...?
Probably only one. They're still technically a medium creature. They're just about as big as a medium creature can get.
So there's no way that
You can get too many.
these guys would fit on a Crocolisk.
Probably not.
Okay. Alright. Well, we're here now. So,
I mean, maybe you could try to fit another goblin on there, but you know.
I don't know. You're pretty big, right? I mean, you're pretty tall, or for a medium size.
I'm actually real skinny, though.
If you want to come have a look for reference, because they are a unique-looking creature. They're sort of part dragon turtle, part
I've seen the
crocodile.
pictures.
Yeah,
They're,
yeah.
Alright, well,
Okay. Well,
if
what
everyone
do?
here looks ready, I'm gonna blaze a trail. And by blazing trail, I mean...
So how deep is? I mean, we're gonna have to swim some of this, and
Well, you guys have the road to go on.
oh, that's true. I guess we have a bit of.
I'm gonna use the crocodile to kind of scout ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, and you sort of grab onto the dorsal fins that it's got on its back. Because, by the way, crocodiles have dorsal fins.
Okay, so it's
And,
like
and fins on their tails.
Or,
They're like dragon turtles
Right.
mixed with crocodiles with 6 legs. They're big and scary.
okay. So we're just gonna follow the road, pretty much.
Yeah, so you guys follow the road. You're heading south, presumably?
Yes.
Probably trying to make your way to Mud's
Yeah,
Bracket.
we're gonna go that way. Yeah.
And I'm gonna scout the way ahead and just keep an eye on what's coming up.
Alright. So go ahead and roll me a survival.
Everybody.
30.
30? Alright. So, keeping an eye out, you manage to steer the party away from any encounters with dangerous beasts that live in the swamp.
It probably helps that I have a crocodilisk.
Yeah.
And most things know that that's not something to tangle with.
Generally not. And because you're traveling a way that specifically has a road, it's generally a little bit safer,
Yeah.
a little more encounter free.
Okay.
Something you're discovering though is that this place is not good for metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, this environment,
Swamp. Yeah. Right.
like
Actually,
you're fine for right now, but you get the feeling that if you left anything
Waste.
in
Yeah,
the
dry
swamp
spell.
for like a few weeks or so, it'd end up rusting to hell.
you still have your powder keg, right?
Yes.
It hasn't
Cantrip,
opened.
stay dry.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you. Thought so.
Also, you have that little gun.
Yeah, I haven't loaded it yet.
It's a cantrip. Stay dry.
Okay.
Just goes through the goblin stuff. Stay dry. Stay dry.
That's
Stay dry.
How many uses do you have of that before it costs mana?
It's
6.
You get a number of free uses equal
Yes.
to your casting modifier. After that,
So-
it's 1 mana point to casting.
so I have 5 free uses
Yeah.
Yes.
because I have an insane spirit score.
Yes. Yeah, you have 5 cantrip uses of any cantrip, and then after that,
It's
and each
cost
cantrip costs 1 mana.
Yeah, and stay dry lasts like 8 hours. It's nuts.
Okay.
It's actually a really good spell.
Yeah,
Um,
especially when dealing with tinkers and stuff.
if you ever want to know a list of really useful spells that are really cheap, let me show you Sapphire spell list. And
Also, stay dry on that little bracer thing of yours.
Yeah, getting
Oh,
water
yeah,
water into your gears is bad.
That'll do that. Yeah.
Because heck, even when I start spending mana, I have 40 of it. So
Good.
having a high spirit score is kind of nice.
All right.
And hey, if any of it does go wrong, I have whatever that feat is.
Fix.
Emergency
Yeah.
repair.
Yeah.
or mending.
That too. Turns out my name is Ironmender. So you know,
Turns out,
I'm good at fixing machines.
And it turns out the DM knows what he's talking about when he gives you last names.
I mean, you know, I really wanted to take emergency repair on Crag Bolting, but he didn't have a wisdom score that was worth beans. So now that I've got a 20 spirit, I figure why not take it?
now that you've got some beans, I mean,
You've got some wisdom
Right.
beads.
Okay.
wisdom beans. The best kind of beans.
20 of them be exact.
Alright.
Alright, so yeah. It's going to be another 2 days. This will be just counting this one as the first day. It's going to be another day after this one ends before you hit Mud Sprocket.
Right.
But nothing eventful happens this day.
Yeah, nothing super eventful happens as because you're sticking to the roads. The roads tend to be relatively encounter free.
Okay. So do you want to camp in a night, and will the crocodile stay with you for another night? Or will it be?
I imagine if I get far enough ahead, I'm going to spend some time teaching the crocodilisk how to, tandem hunt.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, watch this trick.
You chuck
I go distract the
the
creature,
Oh.
and while it hot, because crocodilisk is stealthy, I wrap around, scare it towards the crocodilisk. Crocodilisk goes wham.
Yeah.
Easy move, easy food.
Like a bear trap. but it's an alligator.
Alligators and bear traps are very similar, actually. Sort of like that, what's that card? Self-propelled bear trap? That's basically just a crocodile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna set regular camp again.
All right. So you set our camp. Everybody, make me another survival check.
For bugs.
Yep, for bugs.
Oh goody.
That was almost as low as I can roll.
What do you get?
15.
Good. 2.
2.
You're gonna be fatigued.
It sounds like it.
No, he's not.
You'll fix it. You will be.
21.
21. You're good.
Okay.
20.
20. Okay.
Holly did not.
What's your roll?
7.
She's gonna be fatigued.
Oh boy.
There'll be 2 castings this time.
Yep.
Oh well. Okay.
Is that a cantrip or a first level spell?
First level.
Gonna have to use 2 mana points.
Oh no.
That's right.
Being a room master is sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not gonna bother making you set watches this time. It goes uneventfully.
We set watches, nothing happens.
Nothing happens. You're on the road. In the morning, the group of you awake. 2 of you are fatigued from the insects, and I'm assuming Brick goes, "All right, both of you, stop that."
Just one down.
Actually, could the troll, like, apply mud to them before they go to bed after seeing what happened?
That's kind of what the
Next
survival
time.
check is.
That's what the survival check is how
But-
well do you manage to stave off the bugs?
But I mean, like, apply mud, like, after seeing that Shiana was bitten half to death, could he, like, just something like,
Do this.
You can certainly try it next night.
okay, I'll have to do that.
Okay. So we continue on.
Yep.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna load up before I get up. I'm gonna go ahead and load my flintlock, just in case. I might actually use it one of these days.
all right.
Which means. Okay.
I really need to actually take the time to put bookmarks in this monster guide, or at least get a monster guide that has bookmarks brought over here, because this not having bookmarks thing on is not good.
Control F?
Anyway, so you're scouting ahead again, right?
Yes.
So, as you're scouting ahead and looking for stuff to hunt, you come across something interesting that seems to be all by itself in the middle of a swamp. It's a large black-scaled lizard. It is unique. It has wings. It's a small.
But it's not quite a snake.
No, it's not quite a snake. It's a sort of like black-scaled lizard thing. It's about maybe dog size, like large dog size, with a pair of wings that are kind of orangish in coloration. Its eyes are like a solid green, and it's got a ridge of small spines across its back, and it's kind of fluttering under its own power.
Weird.
Make me a nature check. No, like nature.
I don't have that.
Make me an intelligence check.
I have no assumption.
0.
It's a weird black lizard thing.
Yeah! Didn't roll a natural 1 though. Let's report back to base. the crocodile pops up out of the water with the troll on it by you guys. And the troll hops down, looks at you, points that way. Are any of you wearing black?
I'm dirt gray.
I'm brown and no.
Shiana's edgy. I'm sure she's got something black.
I mean, I wear earthen tones.
Red and black are horde colors. If anyone would be
Yeah,
wearing it,
she's
it'd be
got black.
Shiana
She's got
and
black.
Derek.
Cool. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find a lizard. Just, like, catch a lizard. Hold the lizard up, which is probably very freaked out right now.
Yeah.
Point to the lizard. Grab Shiana's black trim, point to the trim, point to the lizard, and then flap like wings, point to the lizard, point to the trim.
Just show us where you found it.
I'm gonna like make an indication of size and like snappy teeth and flappy.
So there's a big
A large lizard of some
thing over
sort?
there with a cloak.
A large black lizard of some sort.
I'm gonna do the flappy again.
Flying.
Flapping lizard.
Wings. Let's see.
The troll nods in excitement and then throws the lizard to the crocodilisk.
Nothing for Snick.
Just reflexes that could not have possibly predicted that. Just
Yeah.
it's gone.
Survival roll to see if I might know what he might
Knowledge
be.
nature.
Knowledge nature. There we go. I do have that. Oh,
15.
That is
Nature 15.
a 24.
Sounds like a young black dragon.
Oh.
Ooh, let's get one of those and tame it. That means there's going to be a big one nearby.
Black, dog-sized lizard, flying, has spiny bits, green eyes. Sounds like a black dragon, a very young one. Like a whelp.
Does a 21 let me know as well?
Yes.
Weird.
And
Let's move.
are black dragons one of the evil ones? All the colors are always different.
Deathwing's a black dragon.
Oh, is it Deathwing? That should be easy to take care of.
It's small.
It's Deathwing Jr.
So the dragonflights are rarely interacted with, and little is known about them. What is known is that the majority of them are guardians of this world. They're, on the general whole, protectors. They can be fearsome and terrifying, especially when you're not aligned with them, because they will deal harshly with anything they see as a threat, often lethally with anything they see as a threat. But the only ones that are considered to be malicious are the black dragonfly.
Terrific. Well,
As much as I'd love to say getting rid of something like this could alleviate problems down the line, I think having a black dragon angry at us is not a fate we would particularly be fond of.
A baby black dragon.
No,
okay.
the baby black dragon's parents
Yes.
Yeah.
are what I'm referring to.
Do we know
What I
that
was
parents
saying.
they usually hang around their parents for a long
That-
period of time?
The
They
ecology
usually
of
don't.
dragons is not something you're familiar with.
Right. Yeah.
What I was referring to is that it's a baby dragon. That means even if we could take care of it.
Yeah. We could
There's bigger.
keep moving.
Would that be then bigger problems?
We just don't know if they got parents about.
Do we want to find out? I don't.
Let's keep moving. Like,
Let's avoid it.
let's quicken our step for about an hour.
Good job, Daniel. Thank you for letting us know.
Chingatal hops on the crocodilisk and
We're not going to mess with this.
Keep moving.
Let's just leave
so
Toothless be.
avoiding the thing. All right, so I will see if I can find a route that will avoid going through that. So it'll probably take us off road for a bit, right?
Yep, which is going to slow you down a bit.
Well, it's going to slow them down because they don't have crocodilisks to ride.
Yeah,
What are they doing not riding crocodilisks?
seriously.
All the cool kids are doing it.
We're staying dry.
Well, the kids that think they're cool are doing it.
Well, you are.
I got some bad news about how dry you're going to be in a second.
Very! He's very dry right now, actually.
You can actually do that for everyone.
I mean, there's actually like a limited amount of stuff you can do with each casting.
You
So-
can make a person dry, though.
You can't make a full person dry.
It's got to be certain.
It's like a square foot.
It's like
per casting.
small bits.
So, it takes like 3 castings to cover him
One
entirely.
cubic foot.
If you're one of the superior races like kobolds, you can
'Cause-
cast. You can.
I mean,
make
all I'm
yourself
doing
stay
is
pretty darn
covering
dry.
like his vital equipment, so like the gun, the
I mean, literally 3 castings. You're what, 3 feet tall?
Right.
Like,
yeah, 1,
3,
2, 3.
3 castings would cover him entirely.
whatever it. Yeah, basically whatever it takes, so that you don't have to clean rust out of whatever machines
It's
he
like,
does.
boop, 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 you're good.
It takes significantly more for the Tauren.
Yeah.
Because it's like do.
Yeah, that might actually start draining my mana a bit.
Okay, so we move on.
Alright, yeah, so you keep moving. You do end up having to make your way off of the road to avoid where you assume that Whelp is probably hunting, looking for food. And you have to stop because you think you hear it's sort of like, it's a very odd noise to hear a dragon whelp's cry. It's sort of, it doesn't have the bass of a typical dragon roar, but you can still hear the fire and magma that builds in the throat and the gullet of a black dragon, even at a whelp stage. So it's this sort of like crackling, high-pitched growl.
So it almost sounds more like how you'd stereotypically imagine a phoenix.
Kind of, yeah. That kind of... But with like a lot of fire and magma sounds.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, it's a dragon, so not that cool.
What was that?
It's a dragon, so
But, several need a spot check.
Ooh, let's make spot checks.
Somebody made it better one than I did.
11.
Ooh, sir, spot check? I can do that.
I got 11.
So did I.
That's not good.
That's a 25.
That's better.
I got 18.
Still better.
So 2 of you aren't surprised. Roll one for Shiana.
She's surprised.
2 of you aren't surprised
That's pretty much it.
when a mound of swamp matter rises up out of the ground and proceeds to lunge with vines and plant matter at the group of you as you all step into what seems to be the territory of some kind of swamp tar beast.
Oh, one of those.
Woo! So everyone's gonna roll me some initiative.
Initiative.
I might not go last.
Hey.
You definitely won't go last.
I mean,
Wow.
I am capable of getting a 0, so
So
never
is
doubt
it.
my ability to go.
And so did it.
Nice.
Is it a new day from when I rolled my boar?
Yes.
It would be. I think.
Yes, it would.
Yes.
Okay.
Roll a different animal. Or roll the same animal if you roll the same number again. I don't know.
Whatever you feel like. Whatever you feel like rolling.
Whatever the dice feel like.
The dice feel like today is a good day to be a whale.
Well,
More whale leather.
Yay.
You're really having a whale of a time with that knife.
Okay. So my initiative does not go up.
Well, whale played.
Alright, so whale played. 25 to 20.
Yes, yes.
What you got?
24, 22 for Gianna.
Alright. There goes Jang. Shiana. The tar beast is going last.
What do you
15.
17.
17.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I rolled an 18 on the dice. So
That helps.
So the Tarbeast probably is going last then.
It had an initiative of 0.
He can match that.
You can match it.
But I probably have a higher dex score than it.
What's your agility?
9.
Its is also 9.
Oh.
What's your intelligence?
Probably way, way, way higher than 15.
Yes.
I mean, unless this thing is like, reading some
Professor
complex...
Tarbeast? No.
Unless this thing is, like reading philosophy in its spare time that I didn't know of.
No, this is not Beast from X-Men.
Right.
Okay, so 15.
I don't know,
10.
under all those vines.
10.
10,
12.
12.
So
Okay.
I go last.
So it's going Jang, Shiona,
Second to
In the
last.
party.
I go second to last.
Rick.
What is this crocolisk feeling right now? Is
I
it
mean,
having fight or
it's-
flight instinct?
It's threatened, and so it's going to go for bites. But it's probably if it feels like it's being outmatched, it's probably going to flee.
Cool.
So are we thinking
Brick,
more?
Josh,
So how big is this
Harvey's
thing?
at the bottom. Large.
So are we thinking more defensive spells or more offensive spells here? Like, should I like? Basically, what I'm saying is, should I like you could hold your action and I could give you bull strength, or should I just
Troll's
go ahead?
hucking a spear and then closing on this thing with the knife.
Okay, defensive spell then.
So throw me your spear.
Stay on target. 17.
Misses actually.
All right, and then draw my knife as I pull it up close and try to draw attention. Oh, when's the crocolisk going?
Don't animal companions normally go on your
It's
turn?
not
It's not an animal companion. It's an animal that tolerates me.
So I guess that would follow more closely like the rules of cohorts or something,
Have an initiative of
which
0.
I think have their own initiative.
It's going right before the tar beast at 2.
Oh.
All right.
the
Shiona.
mounts go on your turn though.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not a
because
mount.
It's not a mount.
It's not trained.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an animal that is tolerating his presence,
Yeah.
as long as his mood is good.
But if he chucks a javelin, then jumps off to attack with. You said
That's
you
what
were-
I just did.
Yeah, so he's off of it now. So yeah.
Yes.
See, I can't ride the thing in the battle. It's
No,
not trained
right,
for that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes
So
sense.
he's on his own.
Shiona.
Shiana's probably going to do her Shiana thing.
Stabbing things.
Stabbing things. She's going to roll a natural 1
And miss.
Why would
because
she
I'm
do
the one
that?
rolling for her.
Leaf.
I'm going to go ahead and move up to get as many people inside of this 20-foot radius emanation and cast Devotion Aura, which will give a +1 deflection bonus to AC to everyone within 20 feet of me.
All of your armor classes go up by 1.
Sweet.
Let me see.
For how long?
It's 1 round per level,
So
which
5 rounds.
kind of sucks, but yeah. So
Well,
I mean,
that's going to be the end of the.
the duration of most fights.
yeah, so it's not too bad. That's just the main drawback of it for how nice it is for a second level spell.
Brick.
I shall cast. I shall cast Mark of the Beast to increase my strength on myself. And where is it? Not that one. And Mark of the Tiger
Mark of the Tiger for claws.
for claws, and level up on the dice.
Alright.
And damage.
So once again, slam your fists together, and the marks of the beast that are on your shoulders bulge your body with strength, and then your hands extend those 3 fingers into claws.
Awesome.
Rick, smash.
Josh, what you got? You got a gun.
I'm going to shoot it.
Roll a hit.
Yeah.
This is probably not going to hit, but we shall try any. Nope.
Luckily, this thing probably has an AC of -50, so.
No, he couldn't hit with a 17.
Oh right, armor bonuses.
So
are
a
fun.
9 doesn't hit.
No, 9 does not hit.
Told you.
Bullet flies off in the nose.
Well, you know, I got to use my stuff in here.
Grenades are helpful.
I know, but then people are all over the place. Yeah.
Against a large-sized creature is not such a problem, but
Yeah.
Crocolisk is going to try and snap at the thing.
That's it. I don't know what else.
Crocolisk, you're going to enjoy the salad bar.
Apparently. It's going to move up and try and bite.
It's a very soggy salad bar.
With a 22, it's going to hit.
Wilted lettuce is a thing.
Yes, not this.
Yeah.
It's going to deal 13 points of damage with its bite.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there isn't some, lettuce farm just sitting around.
Why not?
Harvesting tar beasts.
Then it's going to try and grapple the
Cabbage
tar
farm,
beast.
maybe, but not a lettuce farm.
Okay, it might grapple the tar beast. Hang on a minute.
Death roll!
Oh, cool.
28 versus 27. It actually grapples the tar beast.
Nice.
Wow.
Which means it gets to lacerate the tar beast.
It begins its grab combo.
Which means it deals an additional amount of bite damage.
Nice.
Which deals 14 more bite damage. By the way, crocodiles are dangerous if they bite and grab on.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just put Bull's strength on the Crocolisk.
Unfortunately, this thing is an elemental, so it's immune to critical hits, so it does not take the stamina damage for being lacerated.
Oh, shucks.
It's got no blood, so.
Yeah.
Which then brings it to its turn.
Has to try to break free first, right?
It's not exactly inhibited by the thing having its teeth lashed onto it.
Yeah, if it's the same size, I think it's like a -4 to attacking things that it's not grappling.
Oh, okay.
It's bigger than the crocolisk.
But yeah, DM can rule that. That doesn't always apply.
It's gonna slam the crocolisk though, because the crocolisk was the thing that hit it first. It's an 8 on the die. That'll be a 19, which I believe is gonna hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about animals, they tend to have decent HP, terrible AC.
It's gonna do 7 points of damage to the crocolisk, and hit it again.
Does how damaged does the Crocolisk look after that first hit?
After the second hit. Wow, that was awful. 13. It's looking injured, but definitely not bloodied.
Okay.
And this is the kind of fight that you feel like the crocolisk might expect to take on anything that fights back.
Makes sense.
Yep. So then that brings us to the top, Jang.
Alright, position myself so I'm flanking. Does 21 hit?
Yes.
Cool. This thing is definitely not an animal, so I don't get my that bonus, but 6 damage.
Make a reflex save.
28.
You manage to the tar-like nature of this thing tries to adhere itself to your weapon, but you manage to pull it free.
So what you're saying is that my bite attack might not be a good plan.
Move, no. Probably not.
That's your judgment call.
I mean, like chewing gum.
Yeah, I may have a terrible intelligence, but I have a good spirit score, and I know better than that. So yeah, I'm just gonna stabby stab, and then Shiana goes to stabby stab, and I'm sure she misses. Yeah, she missed. If an 18 missed last round.
Yep. There's 17 missed last time.
Oh, 17 missed? Well, this is lower than that too.
Okay.
It's 15.
15, yeah, that misses. Leaf.
I'm gonna go ahead and the Crocolisk is the only thing damaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and heal it. 7, 3.
It's probably a very odd sensation for the Crocolisk to be healed.
How much you heal?
10, 14, 15.
All this damage is gone. Full health.
To me, that's less likely to bite me later. I'll take it.
I
Generally.
might not know where that came from.
Brick.
Also, the buff is not lasting for 5 rounds, it's lasting for 4 rounds. I'm level 5, but my caster level's 4.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, because you're Tinker.
Yep.
You have a level of Tinker.
Okay, I'm gonna trade it. Charge it.
Alright. Roll me your attack. Did you roll a natural 1?
Why?
Well, at least your hands aren't stuck in it. You run up, swipe out with the claw, and just catch some of the vines that are on its exterior and just kind of pull the vines off. Just random plant matter. Alright, Josh.
It takes take 1 round to load and shoot,
I think
right?
it's a move action to load, isn't it?
Oh, that's right.
Standard
Yeah.
action to load,
Oh, is it?
unless you have the rapid reload feat.
No, I don't have that yet, so I'm gonna have to go with my
What did you take?
crossbow.
What'd you take for a feat this level?
The
Proficiency with it.
martial.
Oh, martial. Oh, you took proficiency with it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I have to be able to use it.
Alright.
So
Crossbow.
crossbow.
I'm sure you could make a mechanical device to make it self-loading.
Yeah.
I can't hit with that either.
A
So
brilliant device called a clip.
Yeah, it's a magazine.
yeah, I missed.
Not a clip, yeah.
Well, I mean, it could be a clip. It'd just be a really inefficient way of putting bullets in the thing.
A clip is technically a
Well,
method
you'd
of
have to-
storing
you'd have to
bullets.
make
A magazine
bullets
is
first.
actually
No,
a
you,
thing.
like clips are actually
because
a
a flintlock is a.
so like
I'd
the,
have to make.
the,
I would have
the,
to wrap
the
bullets
different
in
the,
paper
the
or
difference
something
the
and then-
difference being is a clip is a handful of bullets held together by a band, which means that when a clip is emptied, just the metal band fires out of the gun, like the old M1 Garand. A magazine is an encased shell that holds bullets and has a spring at the bottom that pushes it up.
Yes.
So for lack of materials, it probably would end up
It would
being
probably be
something
a
more like
clip. Yeah. It probably would actually end up being a clip.
Make it a move action to reload instead of a.
Yeah, could you slam the clip into the hold?
Okay. I rolled a 7 and missed.
All right. That brings us to the Crocolisk, who is no longer injured and is feeling real good about that. It's grappled by the beast now, though, because it's hit it with its slam attack. So,
That's kind of a favorable
Well,
position.
they're
Now.
already in a grapple, so.
yeah. It's going to try and bite down. Because if it needs to make a successful grapple check to do that. Which it might, if it rolls low enough. A 2 is low enough. So it gets to deal more bite damage.
Nom 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 nom. And to think that everyone thought they were carnivorous.
Another 13
Yes,
damage.
right.
Thanks, Hardy. How much damage do you do with your stack?
6.
6? Okay. Let me try keep track of that.
I mean, they just kind of bite things that get in their mouth. Like if you've seen those demonstrations where they'll, take a
slap the
snap,
crocodile on the head and have it snap
With a
whatever's in
stick,
front of it.
yeah.
or like
Use a
when
stick,
they
right?
take like a watermelon or something,
Oh.
to like a snapping turtle or a crocodile or something.
Yeah, it's like they put the watermelon in front of them and slap the crocodile on the head and it goes Smash!
And 9 times out of 10, it's preceded by a message saying, "Hey, this is a good analogy for a human head."
Don't do this at home. It's like watching
Especially because if you have a crocodile in your home, you should really be thinking about other things.
Yes.
And very, very quickly. Like running.
It's
very quickly.
sort of like watching a hippopotamus with a watermelon.
Yeah.
Because they're just like a trap door falling. It's like
Yep.
Yeah, hippopotamus bite is actually more dangerous than a crocodile bite.
yeah, it's just the weight of its upper jaw is just crushing force. Just
Primarily because the hippo's mouth is way bigger and can get more of your body in it.
There's very, very, very few things
In
that
fact,
are worse to get bitten by than a hippo.
in a fight between hippo and crocodile, hippos typically win.
yeah, because the hippo just has to get enough of the crocodile in its mouth to crush its spine.
Because tanks are totally overpowered in this meta.
Anyway, Tarpies. Johnny, you put a dagger in it. It was a magic dagger.
Yeah?
It's gonna go at you.
Come at me, bro.
It did with a natural 20.
Why does everything crit me?
I mean, hey, that's the second natural 20 rolled this fight. There've already been 2 1s as well.
You take 20 points of bludgeoning damage and are now grappled by this tar beast.
Eh.
So that's
I'll
the
be
double
fine.
double.
That's like less than half your maximum hit points, right?
No.
Right now, that's a third my maximum hit points.
Okay, cool.
And it's gonna...
You can walk it off.
I can.
Exactly!
Literally, I'm a troll.
It makes my job very easy.
And then it's gonna hit the Tauren.
It's like, alright, heal the... Oh, never mind.
That's a 29 to hit you. I almost said 39.
That it's
It's gonna be 8 points of bludgeoning damage for you.
If anybody in this party has an AC of 29 or higher, you've done something right.
That will be the tar beast's turn. Jang.
It tried to shank me.
It did shank you, and you're grappled right now.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that. Well, thankfully, you can dagger someone in a grapple.
Yeah, that's why you have a dagger.
20-something.
Yes, you hit.
Another 6 damage, and... I mean, we're here. We're living this life.
Gonna bite it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm already grappled.
Roll me an attack roll with your bite. Also, roll me a reflex save for your dagger.
Oh, right. So the reflex save is a 24.
Alright, you managed to pull the dagger free.
The bite's a 6.
You miss with the bite. You can't get your teeth on it properly.
Oh, I am still technically flanking. Bite's a 9.
Still can't get your teeth on it properly.
Didn't think so.
His armor class is 18.
Shiana missed again.
Shell has not hit anything in the
I've rolled her a
last few
1,
fights.
a 5, and this is a 2.
Well then.
What are you rolling anyway?
Because I'm
Yes,
I'm
I
adjacent
know.
to the seat.
Leaf, what do you got?
It's like a fireball or something.
Not that kind of caster, unfortunately.
That's not what I do. Like, the most I can do is one. Yeah, no. The most I can do is like
Can you
a
cast?
little bit of subdual damage.
You don't have any of the smite spells, do you? Yet.
Don't have what?
Smite. No, he's a priest, not a.
No, I have
There's Holy Smite is actual priest
Holy
spell.
Smite. Yeah, but that's.
I have smite, which is the
One
thing that
d4.
deals good damage to undead and demons, but is practically useful for anything else. And I have ray and lesser ray of
Yeah,
subjugation.
the problem is
But lesser ray of subjugation kind of isn't useful for this because basically I'll use it if
divine
I want to knock
spells
people
can
out.
deal damage, but they are generally very specific, and you have to kind of pick out the right ones for the right enemies.
Yeah, I'm a priest,
Also-
not a shaman
Shaman deal with elementals.
or a druid. So
Druids don't deal with elementals that well either.
yeah.
Okay.
You're attacking the thing in melee?
Yeah.
Right, because you're kind of stuck to it. I'd use True Shot Aura if you were at a range, but you're not. So for right now, I think the best thing to do.
Yeah, Smite is the spell I was thinking of. It's very low damage, but it is a damaging spell.
You know what? That Crocolisk has seriously been doing a number on this thing.
Yeah, Crocolist MVP.
Give
Yeah.
the Crocolisk to how do you want to do this?
I mean, you know what?
You gotta get
Bull strength on a Crocolisk. That's just what my life is right now.
Up to that with the strength of a bull.
So the Crocolisk is now stronger.
Alright, we have a
Plus
super strong
4
Crocolisk
plus
going at
6.
you.
There's no way this can end badly for anyone.
Well,
It's +4, right?
plus
Plus
4.
four.
Is it?
Plus 4
Alright.
enhancement bonus.
Oh.
Rick,
It's kind of a really nice spell.
What are you
Well,
doing?
Set of spells.
Casting Mark of Magic Striking on myself to give my fist +1,
alright, and then punching?
and then punching.
Go for it.
Since he's grappled, does that count as?
Yes, you get +2, I
Yes.
believe, for,
Yeah.
for him basically him being in a bad spot.
So that's 22.
22, you hit him. Roll damage.
And that was
Plus your strength +1 because of the magic weapon bonus.
with the Mark of the Beast. Does it increase my strength by 4 or the ability by the score by 4?
It increases the Mark of the Beast for strength increases the strength ability score, which means that you get a +2 bonus.
Plus 2 more. So.
Yeah, +2 more.
So that's 4, 9, 10, 10.
10 total damage.
10 total damage. Unless I'm missing anything.
You got the extra +1 from being a magic weapon.
Yeah, that's 10.
Okay, cool. 10 points of damage with a single punch. Most people can't do that.
With a single slash.
All right, and
Because I have clouds now.
Josh.
Missed again.
Yeah, Tinkers are not combat characters
Yeah,
until
no.
they make weapons to fight for them,
That's
basically.
that's what I'm working on.
Basically,
Steam suits, vehicles, stuff like that are how Tinkers get into fights.
Right.
a tinker isn't a good fighter until either they're making use tech device checks or their enemies are making reflex saves. Those are the two times when a tinker is a good fighter.
Basically.
Yeah.
Make a sentry here.
Building a sentry. Alright, well, the Crocolisk is going to try and bite this thing again.
Yay.
It's been working well for it so far, and it's got...
Extra.
I mean,
strength.
with extra strength, this is going to be a, 29 grapple check. So... Okay, this gets to do bite damage. How do you want to do this, me? So the Crocolisk, as it's got a mouthful of this giant tar beast, just kind of jerks its head and yanks the mass of this massive block of tar down into the muck and drags it down under the surface of the water, and you lose sight of it as it drags it down to the very bottom. And you don't see anything for a bit, and then you start to slowly see bits of plant matter float to the surface in chunks. And then a few seconds later, the crocodile just rises up to the surface of the swamp water.
in perfect health.
Yeah.
And stronger than it's ever been.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
So is
Well
this
done.
kind of thing natural for swamps to just, have hanging around?
Based on your
Yes.
understanding of the spirits, tar beasts are a form of elemental. They are an amalgamation of spiritual energy, which is basically when the raw stuff that makes up the elemental spirits sort of condenses into one location, new elemental creatures might be formed. And in places where there's a lot of mixing of the elements of water and life, a tar beast might form, which is usually swamps.
Okay.
They're not common, but they're technically natural.
Cool. Just want to know if, this is part of that whole apocalypse thing that's happening.
It's sort of like the situation that leads to like a shambling mound in D&D, where just the right, perfect combination of elements causes something to come to life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess we'll go ahead and head on and hope the dragon didn't notice us.
Well, keep on going.
Right.
I mean, the sound of, like, a crocolisk and a tar beast fighting is probably not...
There was a gunshot, though.
Oh.
Yeah, well,
Well, maybe it's a really smart crocolisk.
Crocolisk tinker.
Or
Yes.
maybe
I'm playing
maybe the baby dragon didn't notice.
Or maybe it's actually afraid of gunshots, who knows?
Well, let's move out of here fast.
Yeah, you move as quick as you can, getting back on the road after you pass by where you fear the dragon would be searching. And you keep moving. Does anyone have knowledge geography?
Ooh, I have knowledge geography. I have knowledge like everything. I actually have knowledge in absolutely everything, what with this newest level of Tinker.
Nice.
That was half the reason I took it, so I can get every single knowledge skill.
So if I ask, does anyone have knowledge? You have yes.
It's kind of nice.
Just leave, roll knowledge.
24.
24.
And each one's a +6 because I have a nice intelligence.
So there's a bit of an explanation. There is one place that is part of why not a lot of people like to go through Dust Wallow. And this kind of comes to mind after you have had the close encounter with the dragon whelp. There's only one known location in the world where people know that black dragons operate and dwell basically a stone's throw away from civilization.
Here.
In a specific location of the Dust Wallow Marsh known as the Worm Bog.
Now you tell us.
Well. Does this memory happen to be jogged by, say, large ominous shadows passing over us, or the sound of deep growling in the earth?
Well, specifically, a large black shadow passes over you, and then a set of wings begin to touch down a fair distance away, and there's just this sound of growling noise.
That can't be bad at all.
Stealth.
Yeah. For as good as I am at spotting things, I'm actually kind of crummy at stealth. But you know what? I can give it a try.
28.
Alright.
I don't want to be here when it looks this direction.
Okay, rolling well.
20.
Who needs skill points when you can roll well? 15.
Alright.
15 also.
Alright, so the group of you are moving quietly, and you notice when the large adolescent drake takes off into the sky with the whelp flying behind it, presumably heading back to wherever their roost is at after having retrieved its younger sibling.
Mm-hmm. Which direction?
Southeast.
Same way we're going?
Yeah, but more east.
Okay. Here we go.
Southeast. Is that headed anywhere notable?
The direction that you remember the worm bog to be, which is east of Mudsprocket by a fair distance.
Okay.
So we're gonna go.
Hopefully we're skirting far enough away from the worm bog that we shouldn't have to deal with any of this, but keeping an eye out for black dragons. It shouldn't be terribly difficult.
Well, yeah. You do know that there's a road south of Mudsprocket that heads straight down, which will presumably help you get away. But you do know that directly east of Mudsprocket is the worm bog. But eventually, the night begins to fall as you start having to consider a place to camp for the night.
Alright. Find a good place to camp, and I'm going to apply some mud to our less capable individuals.
Alright, you can roll a survival check for yourself and one for the people that you're trying to help deal with the insects.
18 for myself.
It's way over there.
Got some distance. That's 17 for Shiana. Did anybody else do? Does anyone else here know? Oh yeah, the
I
goblin.
don't have survival stuff.
18 for the goblin.
Okay.
I think the other people are pretty self-sufficient, if I recall.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good survival roll. 17.
18.
18? Alright, yeah, so you managed to make sure that everyone else, you rolled above a 12 for everybody, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
My survival modifier is a 12.
Okay, yeah, so.
My survival modifiers are 9, so it'll be very difficult for me to fail.
Yeah, so you make sure that everyone is well prepared and going to be able to survive the bugs for the evening. And the rest, you get your long rest in, day passes by, evening passes by rather uneventfully. And you wake up the next morning and continue on your way. And
Alright.
Heading down toward Worm?
Toward Mudsprocket.
Mudsprocket.
So we'll get there today, right?
yeah, probably about sunset today.
Wolfskin.
Yeah, look at that. And right on time, as the sun is beginning to set on this particular day of travel, you find yourself coming within view of a series of wooden palisades that form the wall around the small settlement of Mudsprocket. There is a particularly tall telescopic tower in the center of the facility that marks a goblin laboratory.
Yay.
Where you can see that there is a large telescope that is designed to keep an eye on the area around from within the confines, and there is the good old sign that hangs off of the front door of the Goblin Lab that you can see as you enter the town. Most Goblin Labs have, just as sort of the Goblin's way of making a joke about everybody else. Is sign hangs off the front door that says Temple of Boom.
Yes. Did we leave the that crocolisk in the swamp pretty much, or
I intended to ride it into
you're
town.
gonna keep riding? Okay.
As long as it doesn't freak out and try to bite somebody.
That's fine. He's gonna take care of it.
No match for a crocolisk.
So
Especially if you have bull strength.
And an animal bane weapon.
So going through the main palisades, the guards, they're just armed with...
The guards are actually goblins,
Yeah.
and they're armed with steam suits.
Okay.
So this is a full goblin town.
Yep.
Well, Sprocket, you would think.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, I know. I would just... So I'm happy.
So as you enter the palisades, you see there's a handful of goblins with sort of like mechanical exoskeletons that they're walking around with, kind of piloting, that are holding various weapons that they use to dissuade anybody who would want to be too much of a threat. And you also see a good handful of ogres wandering around, and you know that ogres are a very popular mercenary thug for goblins because they're big and dumb to go with the goblins small and brilliant.
Okay.
it works out best for both parties there.
Yes.
They're good at carrying machines that work and beating people up with when machines don't work.
Yep.
Okay.
Any reaction to riding a crocolisk into town?
Not really, surprisingly. Mostly.
I mean, it's goblins. They've seen
It's goblins. They've seen everybody come through.
Yay.
Alright, head on in. What's the feel of this town? Because I don't think I've ever been to a goblin town before.
So as you enter, this town is strange. It's dominated by the giant telescopic laboratory in the center, and there's a variety of smaller buildings, all made out of various slapped-together metal. Most of which seem to be designed around the aspect of being sturdy enough to withstand an explosion. And
I'm sure I can see char marks fairly easily everywhere.
on some of them, yeah.
Goblins are good at what they do.
And you...
The ones that are still alive are.
Yeah, that's the best part.
That's why they tend to be very intelligent.
But
Only that gene gets...
Very, very rapid natural selection.
Yep.
Well, unnatural selection.
I mean, that's kind of the point, though. People who are stupid don't survive. People who are bad at their jobs don't get far.
People that think that everyday items need more dynamite typically don't end up doing so well.
Unless they make really good dynamite.
True. But even they'll probably end up with a couple of singed eyebrows.
I mean, the Bolton clan's doing alright.
Yeah, but they're experts.
Experts at explosives.
Just gotta get an expert in something.
We make everything explode. We make our toothpaste explode.
I mean, why not?
For that. Yeah.
Alright, there's a number of different buildings. There's a... And it looks like each of the goblins here has sort of set up their own shop. And everything is a store. Everybody's selling something, and everybody's generally got a monopoly on what they're selling. There's your random parts dude. There's your explosives dude. There's your weapons dude. There's your armor dude. There's your vehicles dude. There's your goblin boss, who is the dude's dude. He's the dude who gives people dudes.
Okay.
And there's the innkeeper dude, who's the one dude who can sell you the thing that other dudes can't do, which is rooms
I see.
that don't explode, preferably.
Yeah.
Is it extra for a room that doesn't explode?
No.
Or is it extra for a room that does
It's
explode?
actually for a room that does explode.
Exploding mattresses. Far more relaxing than you may think.
Usually because death is the most relaxing experience.
Well, you see, if they're timed right, it's actually like this really cool massage mattress.
It just sounds like a diesel engine.
It just explodes very slowly and just vibrates the mattress.
Like
it bounces you up in
It
the
actually
morning.
feels quite relaxing, but the goblin engineer who built it didn't realize that it sounded like a diesel engine. So, you know.
Now,
Yeah,
if you did, that the goblins have really good earplugs.
Yeah.
Also, to a goblin baby,
Diesel's relaxing, yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's just...
It's literally it's like using a car motor to run like a vibrating bed. So it's like a series of small explosions that just very slowly vibrates the bed to give you a relaxing massage.
Unfortunately, the gnomes are the ones who invented the muffler.
So it doesn't have a muffler.
It also gets real hot, so don't roll off the bed the wrong way.
Or just have natural fire resistance like high-level tinkers have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
So yeah, there's the flight master, there's the innkeeper, there's the food and drink, there's the weapons and armor merchant, and then there's a handful of other goblins that all have their own thing to sell.
I want to try to look around and learn a little bit more about this mysterious cabal of 5 1/3.
Well, the guy you're probably going to want to look for, at least the guy who seems to be in charge as soon as you ask around, is like, you know, who's the boss around here? Well, there's a gentleman who works out of the Goblin Laboratory by the name of Drazit Drip Valve.
Drazit Drip Valve. Excellent.
And so that's the guy you're going to be looking for if you're looking for any real information.
Cool. Any kind of... Is there any kind of a techno-magic guy?
Not here.
Okay. I that's a fairly obscure profession.
But if someone was going to know anything in this town, probably this guy.
Okay.
So you go looking for Drazit.
I'll see if I can hunt him down.
So you head up into the lab, and there is this sound of, "No, you idiot! Put it down, put it down. I gotta fix it now." And so as you approach,
I see what is he might be referring to fixing.
you see a goblin sort of with his head in his palm as an ogre slowly puts down a very large cylindrical object with a series of like suction valves on the sides that seems to be designed to draw something in from the area around it. And you see the ogre's like, "Sorry, boss." He's like, "Don't worry about it. Just go help Axel out with something if he needs it. I gotta fix this now."
Can I tell if it's damaged or malfunctioning? Like if it took damage or if it malfunctioned?
Roll me an engineering check with your intelligence.
Makes sense. Do. That's not bad. 25. That was a good roll.
Both. It looks like when the ogre picked it up too fast, he cracked it against something and it dented some piece of the metal, which caused some of the internal gears to start to go a little wonky. So it's both damaged and malfunctioning. Because
Can I tell what the thing is supposed to do?
Based on that roll, it's a phlogiston collector.
Hmm.
It is a very large stationary device that is designed to collect phlogiston out of the air and distill it down into vials.
That thing looks like it's seen better days.
What? Oh, hi. You see a very sort of well-dressed goblin with sort of like a purple double-breasted vest with sort of like gold buttons on both sides and sort of long purple sleeves with gold trim, and his surprisingly normal slacks compared to the vest, which you can only assume is because of the the environment of the marsh. He's got like basic leather breeches and then this big fancy purple doublet and like basic brown boots. So it's like real fancy on the upper half and then really utilitarian on the lower half. And he's got his hair pulled back into a big brown ponytail.
Though if you don't mind, I do happen to specialize in fixing this sort of thing. I sort of move over to the machine.
I mean, I can fix it myself, but if you're offering free labor.
I'm going to go ahead and cast Repair Damage or whatever the wording is. That spell. The spell that I use a lot. 5, 8, that'd be 13. 14, 15. So 18 points of damage restored to it.
Alright, so that repairs all the damage.
And I'm going to go ahead and make a check with emergency repair, would that be? Or would that just be a general... Would it be like an engineering check, or would it be something with the emergency repair feat?
What does the emergency repair feat do?
So the emergency repair feat allows you to stop a device from malfunctioning dangerously and allows it to continue functioning temporarily. If you roll a 20, it can function.
This would be more just a straight engineering check.
Engineering check. Alright.
With your agility.
With agility?
Yeah.
With
okay. It's moving parts, so you gotta get unstuck.
Makes sense. 19.
19? Yeah, you give it a little bit of a knock and a little bit of a twist, and the pieces start working again, and it starts whirring, and slowly you see the chugging noise starts to pick up again. It starts to siphon from the air, and the goblin kind of scratches his chin. Well, not bad, not bad. And to who do I have the pleasure of walking in and fixing my shit for me?
The name's Leaf Ironmender.
Drazit Drip Valve. How can I help you?
I trained the Crocolisk to be my friend.
Well,
We got
I was wondering, I've heard
destroyed it.
rumors about a certain
We were wandering around the goblin
group
right
of people with similar skills to this, putting a little bit of a magical touch to technology. The
whatever the
Cabal of 5 1/3. Wondering if you'd heard anything about them.
Ah, yeah. They got one of their boys lives out of actually works out of Gadget Zane, actually.
Really? We're headed that way, in fact.
Well, if you're looking for information, you probably want to go there. I know their base tends to move around when they want it to, but they supposedly it's got one home spot somewhere in the Barrens, Northern Barrens. North of that big rent that we heard about coming in. But if you're looking for more information, one of their guys works out of Gadget Zane right now.
Know who he is?
He sort of like leaps through some of his documents as he sort of walks over to his desk and pores over a couple of papers. Let's see what I got.
In other words, you're poring over your own paper, so the character's poring over his papers too.
Basically. It's an orc. What kind of orc has this name? He says, kind of looking. Mememgem.
Meme Gen?
Mememgem.
GM. So it's not even.
Huh.
Well, just by the name alone, it sounds like the kind of person who would be in a Cabal of 5 1/3. Does he do business up here, or how do you even know him?
He comes up occasionally, but I mostly hear about him based on the stuff that he gets down to in Gadget Zane.
Must be a pretty reputable figure then, or
Well, surly bastard, he's certainly that. But, I mean...
it is sort of hard to tell from tone about this sort of thing whether that means he's solving world hunger or actively bringing about the apocalypse.
Well, it's kind of the opposite of what you do.
Gotcha, so he makes things stop working.
Yeah. Also, the opposite of what you do, Mr. Holy Light Man.
Oh, great to know. Yeah.
Like angry green fire kind of imp-powered vehicle kind of thing.
Fell.
Interesting.
Techno warlock, I think he called it.
Oh, cool.
Well, I guess given my current position, it's interesting to hear of someone else taking such an unorthodox route on how to use technology. Huh. Mamjam?
Memem Gam or something like that. I've never heard anybody pronounce it right. I don't even think he can pronounce it right.
Well, if he pronounces it 3 different ways, I'm sure I'll figure out. What else is in this room, just in general? I'm guessing is it just some kind of busy room full of all sorts of
Basically, yeah.
devices?
Like this particular area is not the observatory of the lab, but it does seem to be sort of like the general workshop. You can see tools and scrap metal sort of spread out all over the place. There's the sound of, Raymond Scott's powerhouse in the background.
I feel like every time there's a goblin around, it's playing.
That's just the default goblin theme song.
Okay.
It's either the sound of that, electric guitars, or things exploding.
Generally.
Or preferably all 3.
Explosions make a great bass. Just ask the 1812 Overture.
1812 Overture, real cannons, or forget it.
But nice.
But yeah, so that's basically what you got of him, unless you have any more questions.
Can I see possibly what he specializes in just by taking a look around here? Or does he just seem to do everything?
He seems to do a little bit of everything, but most of what you see are large devices, like that Flogerson boiler, or like the giant telescope in the roof. You suspect that this guy is the guy who builds large stationary objects.
Makes sense that kind of guy would be in charge then.
Yeah.
Well, hi, it's a nice operation you've got going, and I'm
Yeah.
glad I could be of assistance.
I thank you for the free service keeping it running properly.
Thanks for the information.
Information's the cheapest thing.
Go ahead and go on my way. Make sure he hasn't blown himself up, I guess.
I'm gonna go to the blacksmith shop.
Alright. Head to the weapons and armor shop.
Yeah.
So, give me 1 second to pull up this guy.
It was really hard to keep myself from going into an accent there.
To turn into Craig Bolton.
I'm trying to turn into Greg.
Yes. It's very tempting. Just randomly start going and thinking, hey, how can I make money out of this? How many of these people can I rip off? How many of these people can I,
Yeah, they're goblins.
It's really easy for me not to go into my accents accidentally.
So anyway.
And so you enter the weapon and armor shop, and you hear a sort of a scratch of a like almost like a record scratch, and then the very automated canned voice that speaks out, "Welcome to Rasbo Rust Gear's Rust Gear. What can I get you today?" And then immediately coming out of the back room is you see a goblin sort of wearing sort of like heavy dark leather outfit with sort of like the big gauge earrings in both ears, and sort of dark leathers that are obviously stained both with soot and ash. And he kind of like wipes his hands clean from some engine grease that he's been working on.
I see.
Hey! Good to see a new face in here. Name's Rasbo.
Hey, I'm Josh. I'm walking around with a bunch of big people. It's nice to see a friendly face again, though.
Yeah. What can I get you?
Well, I was wondering if I could use your forge for the night. And manufacture something.
You're a goblin. You know what the price is.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of coin.
Yeah.
Tell you what, just for use of it, I ain't got nothing to do left for the forge today. 5 silver.
Oh, sure. Okay, that sounds good.
Good. Put everything back, don't break nothing.
Right. I also need a few materials.
Well,
I've got.
that was stock prices. You know what the price
right.
of those
Yeah, I
is.
got the price of that.
So you can turn however much gold you want into scrap here.
Right. And I'm gonna have to deal with what I'm gonna make.
Oh,
You know,
no.
off camp.
Yeah.
This is gonna take a. Yeah.
I'll talk about what you want to make off
Yeah.
camera. Yeah.
But I do have to forge
Speaking
something,
of-
and I'm going to be using my weapons skills instead
Speaking
of...
of, as all of you
technical
sort of explore this town and get an idea of what you might need to buy and where you might need to rest for the evening, because the sun is setting,
Yeah.
and there's Axel's Tavern, which is the only real place, Axel's Grease Wheel, which is the only place that you can really sit down to rest for the evening, and might actually keep you out from the bugs, which would be nice.
Okay.
As you all look around for a place to stop, that's where we're going to end for the evening.
Okay.
So, say goodbye, everybody.
Farewell.
Nighty-night.
Bye.